Jane Eschweiler was born June 22, 1947, one of two daughters born to Gilbert and Teresa Eschweiler. She grew up in Milwaukee and attended Mother of Good Counsel Elementary School and Divine Savior High School. Both schools were staffed by Salvatorian sisters who inspired her call to the Sisters of the Divine Savior. Reflecting upon her call to religious life, Sister Jane said, "The prayer life, community living, and apostolate of this order have attracted me since the lower grades." Jane was always in close proximity to priests and religious all her life. She drew further inspiration from her 3 aunts who were members of religious communities and 3 uncles who were priests. On September 12, 1965, Jane entered the SDS community and professed her first vows on August 13, 1968. In 1970, Sister Jane began teaching at Divine Savior High School and several other Milwaukee schools. Shortly thereafter, she elected to assist at a medical clinic in rural Mississippi. During this time, Sister Jane also engaged in prison ministry at Parchman State Penitentiary. Here she first began to preach and lead prayer services. From there she went on to teach in a 4-room school for African American youth. While amongst the poor, she served as a resident pastoral minister. After serving faithfully in Mississippi, she went on to teach high school students in South Chicago. During the late 1980s, Sister Jane followed a desire that had been growing within her to teach the Word. Retracing her steps, she returned to Mississippi and tended 2 small parishes in great need of pastoral and administrative leadership. Jane shared in her autobiography that this was where her heart longed to be. While in Mississippi, she preached, led Eucharistic services, composed parish bulletins, engaged with leaders of other Christian faiths, shared hospital chaplaincy, and conducted extensive pastoral work. In 1990, she moved back to the Midwest and served for 5 years on the pastoral team at St. Andrew Parish in Michigan. While at St. Andrews, she also served on several diocesan commissions and task forces. To better serve in these ministries, she studied extensively and graduated from Loyola University in 1996 with a master's degree in pastoral studies. Over the next 20 years, Sister Jane would serve faithfully in many roles. She was elected to the North American Provincial Team in 1996. Then in 2003, she was asked to join a collaborative ministry called the Jordan Ministry Team in Tucson. She found this assignment both creative and challenging. Sister Jane would go on to become director of the Jordan Ministry Team and continued in this role until 2013. While part of this ministry, she traveled to schools, parishes, hospitals, and prisons where she conducted classes, retreats, and workshops for future lay leaders, deacons, youth ministers, catechists, and Catholic school teachers. These experiences greatly broadened her understanding of Salvatorians globally and culminated in her leading religious retreats in India and teaching English in Tanzania. In October 2021, Sister Jane returned to Milwaukee to receive additional health care. While living at the Salvatorian Sisters' residence, she resumed her ministries of spiritual direction, worship, and leading prayer services and discussion groups. On June 9, 2022, while surrounded by her family, friends, and Salvatorian family, Sister Jane died peacefully. She was 74 years old and professed for 53 years. May she now enjoy the presence of the God she walked with throughout her life.